Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Lyndon Peterson, and I'm the host of the Beyond the Stage podcast. Thank you for tuning in once again. Today marks the 10th episode. Can you believe it? It's 10 episodes down, 10 shows down from starting the show earlier on this year. I'm totally chuffed, and I want to once again thank all of the people who have subscribed, all of the people who have liked, who have shared, who have followed. Thanks, Mom. Just everybody, my family, community, my loved ones, my kids, who have just have obviously seen me beyond the stage, but have just supported. I want to just extend a thank you to you, and thank you for supporting and coming on board the journey of what I believe, once again, is an important message, is needed beyond the stage. So welcome once again to the show today on this 10th episode. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do that. And I'd love to once again hear from you. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Are you enjoying the show? As I've said in times past, are there topics and subjects that you would love for me to cover on the show of Beyond the Stage? For those of you who don't know, I've lived on stage not lived on stage, but a lot of my adult life, I've been on stage since 17 years old. Till in my 40s, and I've spent a lot of time in the performance aspect of church ministry, singing in church, outside of church too, and I've learned a couple of things over 25, almost 30 years, learned a couple of things, and I thought it was time to bring these conversations to the camera, to a podcast setting, and talk about Beyond the Stage, because where I've been challenged, there's not just great performances on stage, which I love, and I want to always get those notes right and get the set right and all the rest of it. But I've been challenged to live an authentic life off stage, and this is what this journey has been like for me. So if you haven't yet, please, if you haven't tracked with me, please go back and view the shows from the introduction to a topic on confidence that I spoke about. My best friend Carla McCauley, who used to be on a great popular TV show in South Africa called Backstage, to love, marriage, and letting go. That show's actually been viewed over 1,800 times, I believe. So go back and view those things. Those are really, really good. Zane Mears has been on the show. I spoke about music has a soul. Walking my dog saved my life. Can you believe that? It's true. And then my previous two episodes, I spoke to a sound technician and AV specialist, audiovisual specialist, Christo Hutton, about sound engineering. So those of you want to grow in that aspect of things, what happens on that sound desk, he's got some interesting concepts that I'm sure you would love to hear. I also want to give a big shout out to Pantelli's, this awesome family restaurant in and around the Joburg, and I see the guys putting their thumbs up and their hands up in the back over there. But in the Randburg area, Pantelli's, if you're ever in the area, pull in. A great family restaurant, Italian kitchen. They've just received a new desserts menu. It's winter, it's cold, so right, a good dessert can always go down really, really well. So big shout out to them for hosting us in this this is a good, cool setting, right? It's kind of like the hub of the show. And so if you're ever in the area, the show notes will be on the details will be on the show notes. So check that out with the show and about Pantelli's. So big up to Pantelli's right there. Today's topic, folks, I want to talk a little bit about a topic that has always interested me, and I've had to learn and grow in my creative spaces. You know, when you're talented and gifted, you're pulled on a lot within your environments to do things, go out and sing, go out and minister, go out and do a bunch of things. And I've learned over the period of time, I've had to actually learn to say no. So I'm calling this topic today, saying no to say yes. Today, we're diving into a topic that many creatives actually get challenged with, including myself, and we struggle with overcommitment, right? We get overcommitted within our diaries or within our schedules, and sometimes we often say yes to too much. And I want to dive into that a little bit today. Sometimes we feel stretched, we feel drained, and sometimes we just lack boundaries. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, okay? Gordon McDonald, in his book, Ordering Your Private World, I've read this book and I've had it in my shelf for many, many years, and it's my go-to. It's my go-to. It's a book called Ordering Your Private World by Gordon McDonald. He says this. He says that if my private world is in order, it will be because I'm convinced that the inner world of the spiritual must govern the outer world of activity. I'm going to say that again. if my private world is in order, it will be because I am convinced that the inner world of the spiritual must govern the outer world of activity. You see, you and I are three-part beings. We're spirit, soul, and body. As Christians, believers, you know my stance on that. I believe that my life is centered from the spiritual first, and then everything else works its way around that. So we're spirit, soul, and body. And unless we are grounded and planted in the spiritual life, in our spiritual being, our lives are out of sync, especially as born-again believers. You look at Mary and Martha in the Bible, right? Martha was busy serving in the kitchen, serving, but Mary was at Jesus' feet. And what did Jesus say? He said, Mary has chosen the better part. He said, Martha, you're distracted by so many different things, but Mary has chosen the better part. And so today, I want to discuss that a little bit. Ray McCauley, my pastor from Rhema Bible Church, he said that if your output exceeds your intake, your upkeep will become your downfall. If your output exceeds your intake, your upkeep will become your downfall. And what does that mean, folks? It means that sometimes we are extending ourselves so much, and we are on the wheel of running around, doing. And if we keep doing that, our output will exceed our intake, and the upkeep will eventually be our downfall. We've all heard them, haven't we? We've all heard it. When we've seen successful people and we realize there's cracks within their lives and we see things fold or things don't work out, I believe it's often got to do with giving out so much that we're not inputting ourselves in a healthy way that we can live a balanced life. And so Gordon McDonald once again said, his father challenged him and said, one of the great tests of human character is found in the critical choices of selection and rejection amongst the opportunities that lurk within life's path. I'm going to say that again. Our human character is tested when we are found making critical choices in the selection and rejection amongst all the opportunities that are within our lives. And so I want to talk about a couple of things regarding that. So I can try to help you. I can try to contribute into this conversation. Like I said early on, I have been in this journey long enough to know I've been pulled in various directions. And when I come, I'm depleted. I have no reserves left to be with my family, to be present with my kids, to be present with my wife. And so the core of our overcommitment, what is actually going on when we are overcommitting to things? Let's start and let's be honest about this stuff, okay? What's really going on is there's something deeper going on here, folks, okay? One of the things that's going on is approval addiction. I want to be liked, and I'm sure you do too, right? We want to be liked. We want to be approved of. We want people to think that we're good and we're A and okay. But often it's approval addiction. If we really look at our overcommitment issues, it's about approval addiction. We want to be liked and we want to be seen as reliable. But often we're saying yes to things that actually disrupt our peace in life. You know, if you're making decisions within your life and you know, this is disrupting my peace, or it's coming against that sweet spot within our life. Now, I'm not challenging you on you've got work commitments. Those we need to keep to, okay? I'm not challenging you on you've made a commitment to something. Those we have to follow through, but sometimes we're overcommitting to things and we need to cut down certain things so we can live a balanced life. So I'm not challenging that, but often our peace is disrupted. You know, God has a guidance system for our lives. And when you're feeling that inclination, when you're feeling that thing of, I'm not peaceful about this decision, maybe you need to check the core of why you're making the decision, okay? Sometimes what guides our decisions as born-again believers and God's guidance system is the peace we spoke about, inner conviction, spiritual confirmation, prophetic confirmation, godly counsel, circumstances, and provision. That's a whole nother topic in its own if I had to chat about that. But the point I want to bring home here is that we got to follow that peace. Sometimes it's insecurity. Sometimes we're so insecure to let people down, to let others down, to let ourselves down, that we just go ahead with things. We're unsure about our identity and our calling within life. Every opportunity feels urgent, and even when it isn't for you, you still go ahead with going to it. Lack of clarity. If your purpose isn't clear, you'll choose everything and end up tired and unfulfilled. If your purpose isn't clear, you'll choose everything and you'll end up tired and unfulfilled. So we need lack of clarity. I'm going to say those again. Approval addiction, insecurity, lack of clarity within our lives often is what leads to the struggle within our lives of saying yes all the time. You see, I've struggled with this personally on this journey as a creative, overbooking myself, overcommitted, feeling stretched and overwhelmed, and sometimes showing up to things that I just know there's no grace in it anymore. And I actually don't end up enjoying it. And at the heart of it, there's a fear of maybe being irrelevant. There's a fear of saying no. And so really, at the end of the day, who wants more critics in life, right? Who wants more people who are against us? We don't want that. So we just agree and we say, yay, yes, and we go with it. But at the end of the day, and I think this is when you get a bit older, you realize, I've just got to turn things down. But who wants more enemies and haters, right? We all don't want that. So we want to look at the example of Jesus and the example that he set for us. Did you ever see Jesus running? Did you ever see him like stressed out? You know, catching 20 cabs at a time or 20 Ubers at a time to try to go and I'm going to go down the road and heal somebody, but I'm in a rush. And I think there was reason and rationale for that. So we're going to take a look at Jesus' life right now. The most impactful person that ever lived, if you think about it. So he wasn't driven by guilt. He wasn't driven by crowds or by pressure. And so he's our prime example. And he had purpose within his life. Okay. So we want to have a look at this quickly. John 5 verses 19 says, the Son did not do anything by himself, only what he sees the Father doing. Okay. So that's alignment. He was aligned, he was clear, and he had a filter upon his life as to what he did and what he didn't do. Luke 4 verses 42 through to 43 says, people wanted him to stay. He said no, because his mission was elsewhere. And so when you have a mission in life, you know, I can't do this. I've got to go there. I've got to go there. I've got to do that, because your mission is more important than the applause of man. Your mission is more important than what people want from you. And that was Jesus as our example over there. Jesus disappointed people without sinning. It wasn't like he was letting people down or he felt an overcommitment or doubt or fear, but he let people down appropriately because he realized his vision, his calling needed to be clear so that he can accomplish the task that he had to do. Same with you and I. We need to have that so clearly defined within our lives that we know this is my no, this is my yes, not out of a I don't like you kind of thing, but out of a place of where I know what I'm about in life. John 11, and this is often used within the church circles, delaying Lazarus's healing. You know, it was 3 days, and he came to the tomb, and they said his body is decaying. We can't even help him anymore. But his timing was not rushed by urgency. It was led by God's timing. And often we need to be led in that way. So Jesus shows us that even love and compassion, we don't have to say yes to everything. We can choose and be aligned with a mission and leave the rest up to God. I want to say this over here, and I love this by a thought thinker and just a thought person that I've enjoyed watching. His name is Paul Scanlon. He says this: you don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. Your potential is buried under notifications, mindless scrolling, and dopamine hits. Clarity isn't built by doing more. It's built by subtracting everything that doesn't matter. So silence the noise and focus on your superpower. Okay, so I'm going to deal with a couple of points, practical points that can help you within your life, especially as a creative. I've often chatted to musicians and artists, and they feel pulled in various directions. What do I commit to? I need the money. Let me also say this. Money will take you down certain roads sometimes that you don't want to go down. It will ask more of you, and because the money is attractive, or because the opportunity is attractive, you will want to do more. It will take you down certain roads, and that's why this issue of saying yes and no appropriately within your life is so, so important. So, practical tools of overcoming overcommitment. Okay, let's have a look at that very, very quickly. Define your why. If you don't know your why in life, you're going to be doing, this feels good, this looks good. And especially as young people, my daughter is very gifted, very talented, and there's so many opportunities within her life. And I've often got to just encourage her and help her and say, baby, what's the end goal here? And sometimes we don't see it, right? Because we want to do it all. And that in itself is a journey. So define your why. What's your mission? And does whatever opportunity is coming your way, does it align with your mission? If it doesn't, then maybe say no to it, right? Maybe say no to it. Check out the source of your yes. Is it guilt? Is it pressure? Is it insecurity? What's the real source of your yes? And why are you saying yes? Because no matter what you do, it's going to require a certain bandwidth, a certain time factor for you, a certain energy. And do you have the rest of the energy to focus on the things that are important? So check out the source of your yes. Create a decision filter. Ask, does this serve my purpose? Does it serve my family? And does it serve my health? Often we're making sacrifices on behalf of our health and on behalf of our family. Okay? Learn to disappoint with grace. Learn to disappoint with grace. You can say no kindly. You can disappoint without dishonoring. Okay? You can disappoint people without dishonoring. This could be a simple family thing. I've had to say no to certain family members and say, I can't do it. You can do that without dishonoring them. But it's flexing that no muscle, okay? Value rest and margin. Value rest and margin. I want to say this for our creatives who will watch this podcast. Creativity flows from rest, not rush. Creativity flows from rest and not rush. Have you ever been so pressured and it's like, okay, and God anoints you for the task at hand and you get on with it and God's hand is upon it. But I know there's an energy that when I've rested and I'm saying yes to the right things and no to the wrong things, my mind is clearer. I'm able to focus on the worship experience. I'm able to download what I feel needs to happen for that service or that production. I'm able to do it well. And I think that's what we want, right? We want to do it well. And then the last point over here with just some practical tools on how to help you is find accountability. Sometimes you have friends in your life that could say, hey, bro, you're doing too much here. Watch out for this. You're doing too much. Say no to this. Watch out. Have accountability within your life because otherwise you're going to be doing so many things. It's going to bog you down. So we've got to learn how to say no and say yes effectively. So some real talk and reflective moments. If you're listening to this podcast today and you feel tired, I hear you. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed. If you're saying yes to everything because you want to be, you don't want to be forgotten, I've been there. Or because you think you don't want to be selfish, I've been there. I want to remind you today, Jesus said no, and he's our prime example. He said no. He wasn't everywhere, but he changed everything. Isn't that amazing? He wasn't everywhere, but he changed everything. And so look at your life and realize, sometimes we just got to stay in our lane and be truthful to our lane. I've had to do that within my life. There's times I've thought, I've stepped down from ministry the last 3 years. This past June, it was 3 years. Full-time ministry, being up on stage every week. There's an element of my life that I felt, am I missing out? Have I missed my calling? No, I haven't. I've made wise decisions. I've put my family first. I've put my marriage first. I've put my health first. And I think it's from that vantage point that we can be successful in what success really looks like for us individually. My success is different to your success. But I really believe that we need to say no appropriately to things within our life. And you've got to find out what that means like for you. So Jesus wasn't everywhere, but he changed everything. So, what are you currently doing right now that you need to release? What are you currently doing right now that you need to release? What yes is stealing your joy, your creativity, and your purpose? Just up until recently, I've had opportunities and I've had to just politely say no because I know it's going to require more from me that I can give to it. Now, is the money cool? Yes, it is. But it's going to rob my peace. And I've been on a journey to find out what does peace look like for my life, for my family. And that's different for everybody. I'm using my life as an example. And I hope that you can bear weight to that over there. I've had to say no to certain things because I know it's going to require more to that I can give to it. Also, I don't want to let the people down by giving maybe a 50, 60%, where my desire is always to give 120%, okay? So, what is stealing your joy, your creativity, and your purpose today? So this whole topic of saying no appropriately, I wanted to just chat about because it's been real in my life. And I hope that it can be real in your life too. So I want to thank you for spending time with me today on Beyond the Stage. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please reach out. Or if you want to challenge me on something that I can deal with within the show. This podcast has been created for you, to help you within your life beyond the stage, to put certain things in place. I'm looking forward to interviewing more people coming up soon. I have so many guests lined up and things lined up. It is so exciting. I pray through every episode. I think through every episode. I want to serve you well. And so come along this journey with me. I believe, like I've said before, there'll be a tribe that will come around conversations that we can help each other. We're living in interesting times, folks. There's so much pulling for our attention. There's so much vying for our time. There's so much distracting us, especially as young people. And I want to help you, give you some nuggets of truth, give you some wisdom that can help you on your journey, challenge you too, as I've been challenged. So this is Beyond the Stage, real people, real conversations, real stories, and real life. I hope that you benefited and enjoyed the show today. Let's say no appropriately. Let's say yes to the things that we need to, and let's move on with a sense of purpose, a sense of calling. We can't just be doing things for nully's sake, for whatever's sake nowadays. I believe we need to have a sense of, yeah, I know why I'm doing this. I'm happy. I want to go ahead. I want to fulfill my calling. I want to fulfill my purpose. So let's do it. Let's go for it. This is Beyond the Stage with myself, Lyndon Peterson. We'll see you next time.